Hi guys, welcome to the halfway point in our advanced composition class. I know that this course can be quite challenging, but that's because I'm getting you ready for real academic scholarly research. Those of you that want to continue on to earn advanced degrees, this is the type of class that will help you get there. And hopefully you'll learn that doing research is an important part of everyday life. No matter what career you go into, research is part of it. So for example, for myself, I am very passionate about traveling. I've told you guys before, I have traveled around the world, and I only do so by conducting a lot of research first. So looking up important monuments, looking up safety things, looking up road laws and just how to act in public, looking up proper hotels. There are so many scams out there where you can give money to a hotel and then it not even exist. So that act of finding credible research is really, really important. And we're continuing that this week with our essay analysis. So last week, we click on modules, I asked you in the discussion area to provide an image for me. So we looked at an image and we responded to them, we gave feedback on them. I asked you, look at the lighting, look at the colors, look at the contrast, look at any words that are on there. And now you're going to create an essay based upon your analysis of that image. So if you need to, go back to last week and double check what comments I've made or any of your classmates have made, and of course your own observations. And then here we are in week 6. I want to make sure that you do the required reading from our textbook. And then our discussion this week is a peer review. So in the peer reviews, remember that the goal isn't necessarily for you to get feedback from somebody else, but for you to give feedback. So it's probably more important that you give feedback than receive feedback. But remember, the earlier you post in the week, the higher chances you will get feedback from someone else. And I don't do peer reviews because I'm not a peer technically, but I will be reading drafts and making overall comments and little reminders just to kind of point you in the right direction if needed. So again, post your draft by Thursday, and the draft should be as close to the final as possible. That way, when you're back in this discussion area, you're able to critique your classmates as if you were the instructor. So what are the things that I'm going to be looking for? Remember to refer to our textbook. Let's see, page 192. It has a list of questions that you should answer. So let's talk about the paper requirements on the next page. So remember, it's an analysis of an image, and we need to do outside research, just as I mentioned before. So I'm looking for around 750 to 1,000 words in proper APA format. So one of the sources needs to be the image itself, and I want to show you how to cite an image. Pull it up here. Oh, where'd it go? It went to the wrong screen. Hold on. I've got multiple screens here. It does not want to pull up. Hold on. Good. There it is. Okay. So for APA, when you have the image, you're going to have a brief little introduction to the image right below it. So this has the author or photographer's name, the date, and the title. So that's going to be right under the image wherever you place it in the paper. You might put it on a page before the essay. You might put it somewhere within the essay. You might put it in an appendix at the end. That's totally up to you. I'm not requiring where you put the image, but it must be there somewhere so that I can see it, and you refer to it. You also then need to refer to it in your reference page. Oh, I don't need this here. I don't need to talk to the librarian. So in your reference, you have the owner or the photographer or whoever it was that produced that image, the publication date. If there isn't one, you write ND for no date. The title of the image is going to be in italics. The media type is in these little brackets. So is it an online blog, an online magazine, a photograph, whatever, and then retrieved from the full URL. So that way other people can go and find it as well. So that's what's in your reference page. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's number one. I need then 2 additional sources. One should be a scholarly journal article from the Remington Online College database. I know some of you've had trouble with this before, but this is a really important skill that we're developing, is doing that scholarly research online. And another one is also scholarly from either the CQ Researcher or ProQuest. And I'm going to remind you how to do that. So here we are in our classroom, and if you scroll down to support, you have these links. So ProQuest and InfoTrack, those are the two online library databases you may use. So I pulled up, just as an example here, because I think I used the other one last time. This is the InfoTrack. And if you think back to my discussion last week, I posted an image of a child who was being choked by words, just to show this idea of emotional abuse being just as bad as physical abuse. So I opened up the database, I typed in emotional abuse. I'm going to run a search. Now remember, one has to be a journal article. So do you see over here the content types? Academic journals. These are journals produced by scholarly writers. They've all been peer edited, peer critiqued, so you want to click there. And I also suggest looking for full text. Otherwise, you might just find abstracts, just pieces. So go ahead and search for full text articles. And then you should get a whole bunch. So I just typed in emotional abuse. I could do child emotional abuse if I wanted to be a little bit more specific. But just looking here, emotional abuse may raise the risk of mental illness. That sounds intriguing to me, because I could take a stance in my paper to show this is why we cannot abuse children emotionally. People tend to think, oh, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? You've heard that little cliche before. But again, words could create emotional abuse, so I could bring that up. So that would be one of my sources. Again, another source must be from that CQ Researcher or ProQuest. I just showed you ProQuest, so you could find both of them from there. Again, you have the ProQuest or InfoTrack, so you want to use either of those. You can do additional research if you'd like. You're not required to, but you can go online, just go to Google and find other sources, but they have to be credible. So keep that in mind. I want to see all of these things. So we have our cover page. An abstract is just a little summary of what is going to be in the paper. Table of contents. So that would include things like your cover page, your abstract, your introduction, your image, your body paragraphs, your opinions and conclusions, and of course your conclusion to the essay. And those things are also the headings and subheadings. So you might have a section on child abuse. That would be one heading, and I would have paragraphs about child abuse. I could have another heading about adult emotional abuse, right? So it's up to me how I want to divide out my paper. I have to have an introduction with that hook, that attention grabber as a topic sentence, and a thesis statement. At least 3 body paragraphs and a conclusion. Quotes and paraphrases must come from that, where is it here? Search that you did online. So you have to include either paraphrasing or summarizing or quotes with in-text citations, and a complete reference list at the end. So I know that sounds like a lot, but reality is it's only a 5-paragraph essay. It shouldn't be too difficult. It's a 5-paragraph or more paper that is going to be in APA format with at least 2 outside sources from our online library and the image as a source. All right, guys, if you have any questions or need any help, please let me know, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with based on images. Thanks.